Yes, sir.
All right, it is 9:30 a.m. on the 8th day of January. We'll bring this regular session of Somervell County Commissioners Court to order. Let the record show Larry Hulsey, John Curtis, Danny Chambers, Kenneth Wood, and Don Cramps are all present. Would you join us in the pledges?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Larry, would you lead us in
It's easy when it's posted. If you have to do that from memory, it's... Excuse me.
No problem. Back to you, Larry.
Father in heaven, thank you for this day you give us. Father, we pray for guidance and wisdom on this court, Lord. May your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, item number 3, approved minutes of previous Commissioners Court. Do you have them, John?
I'm showing December the 11th, December the 15th, and December the 19th. Is that what you have, Ms. Hill?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Make a motion that we approve the 3 meeting minutes from December 11th, 15th, and 19th.
I have a motion by John. Second. Have a second by Kenneth. Any further questions or discussions about the minutes? All in favor of said motion? That's 5 for, 0 against. Item number 4, receive and open RFPs for Lot 1, Block 9, located in Somervell County Industrial Park.
Yes, sir. We've received one proposal from Magnitude Real Estate on behalf of Mesa Tech Corporation. I recommend to the court that we just take these under advisement to be presented back later.
We'll review it and look at it later. Do I have a motion to accept this RFP?
So moved.
Have a motion by John to accept this RFP. Second. Second by Kenneth. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor of said motion? That's 5 for, 0 against. Item number 5, discuss take action on 3.07 pay plan administration draft. I guess I'll be back to you, Paula.
Much of clarification. I guess it's just, I wanted to include in policy the requirements on pay raises and when they take effect, just so everyone's clear. That's really it.
When department heads, elected officials do the reviews, they get them turned in timely manner to you, you get them turned in to the Treasury Department, then it takes effect on the next pay period.
It doesn't take effect.
Retroactive,
until
everything like that. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're not changing the way we're doing things now.
What's a timely manner?
A timely manner is before the effective date of the rate.
So what?
Or even
Are you
after.
talking about a
in some
day
cases.
before or what?
And that wasn't about you, that was another department. I know Frank thinks that was a him, but it wasn't.
Are we talking about a day before or what? A week
no
before?
later than the day before the raise.
Department no later than the day prior to the pay period of
Yes,
the
and
effective
for
increase.
ease of accounting, I mean, it could take place in the middle of a pay period, but I think that would be horrendous to payroll. So the request is that it's at least the day before the beginning of the pay period.
I've seen it, and I just wanted to make sure that we're not doing anything different than what we're doing now.
Have we satisfied that question?
Brian said we're doing everything the same as what we're doing now, so.
We just did.
I guess my question is people, are department heads getting it in time?
That's the problem.
Herein lies the problem. With change, department heads may not have been notified of an upcoming performance review or pay increase of an individual. This is putting that responsibility on the department heads to track the due date of their employees, their reports, when they're reviews are and to have them turned in prior to the effective date of that increase. Okay?
And you know, in the past, sometimes departments have been really busy, like the sheriff's department. I'm not singling any department out. They've probably all done it. You know, and as long as they call me with a verbal, yes, we're getting the paperwork signed, that person's like not coming back in for a couple of days. They'll sign the paperwork when they get in. As long as I have a verbal, we'll go ahead and put it through payroll. It's not a big problem. I'm not gonna hold somebody's raise up because they're having days off and haven't got the paperwork signed.
So it's a department head's responsibility.
Yes.
But how do they know?
They need to put that on their calendars.
Okay.
Like each one of us that have certain employees, you know, we have to set it. We've been fortunate. Nikki usually reminds us. We've been very fortunate that she normally, but it's not her responsibility to do that.
Is there somebody's responsibility to remind department heads, or they got to know themselves?
Department elected officials need to be responsible for their employees.
Yes and no. Yes, it was that way. Currently, it's not that way because
Right.
when we on the enterprise funds, they became separate entities, and when we made those changes to the payroll, then they got excluded from that. Okay, and notifications were not made. I'm not trying to point finger, place blame, but what we do need to take into consideration is any change that we implement, we need to ask a specific set of questions of what's the downstream impact of this, who needs to be notified, how are they to be notified, to ensure that changes are understood and appropriately implemented by department heads or whomever is impacted by that. So I see nothing myself wrong with this in putting the responsibility on the department heads and making timely notification of those pay increases prior to the effective date.
However, if a verbal is gonna be accepted and I'm not aware of it, I'm not comfortable signing the document after the fact because I'm not aware that it's been authorized prior to the.
And in one situation, you know, it wasn't 2 days, it was like 3 weeks. It was like it was supposed to take first on the 1st, it was dated the 23rd, things like that. And I'm not talking about you, Frank. So I'm not singling you out. You know what I'm saying? It was like 22 days difference.
Okay.
And so that's really what this is trying to clean up.
Is it
Department
cleaning
head
it up?
elected officials.
If it's what we've already got in place, it's not cleaning nothing up.
This where it talks about if they don't get in time, then don't take effect till it clears your office and her office, right?
Correct.
So even if it was due December 1st, an elected official gets it in January 1st, clears your office, clears her office, it takes effect once it clears your office and her office. Correct? So that's what this does. Because right now, some of the elected officials and department heads just try to get it in there, and then, well, it should have took place on December 1st. This way, if they don't get it turned in, it don't get processed by Paula and Susie. It just don't take effect.
Until the next pay period.
You know, it's just like people taking responsibility for the budgets in their department. I know half the time the auditor's office moves money for people when actually it should be the department head that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. If this is already in place and it's not working, maybe.
This has got some more language in it that wasn't in the previous.
It's working for my office.
There is no language.
I know we don't want any changes, but we might can stop it before it gets to your office. I don't know. Is there a problem?
There is for me. I don't like signing paperwork.
Okay, what do we need to do?
This.
If they'll adhere to it. That's, yeah.
Is there any way, okay, can you notify the department heads? Is that your,
But they're getting notified. That's not the problem. They have a good 2 weeks notice,
Who notifies them?
Nikki does.
Nikki does.
Well, in the
Well, is
case
it her
of the expo,
responsibility?
they weren't
Isn't
notified.
that-
Is it,
that
is
really
it, is it
a
y'all's
there's a
responsibility?
separate
I'm
thing
sorry?
going on.
Is it y'all's responsibility to notify the department heads?
We do it as courtesy,
That's
just
what I'm
like the
thinking.
auditor's office does it as courtesy to move money.
Would it be simpler for you to notify them?
It's not the notification. They're setting aside what happened with the expo, taking that out of the equation. Notification is given, and they're still not coming in a timely manner. And I have a problem signing an authorization that's basically a retroactive pay when it's not allowed.
Maybe they need to notify both departments. Maybe you need to go ahead and notify them and you too.
But it's still not the problem.
We notify Paula and the department.
Right, I
Okay.
understand, but they're still coming in late.
The notice, the paperwork,
The paperwork is still coming in late, even though they've had ample notice.
Like Susie's saying, elected officials are not taking responsibility enough to get it where it needs to be on time.
And if they don't want to, that's fine.
That's cool.
But it's going to affect the employees when the raise takes effect.
well, it's not only elected officials.
No, it's department heads.
It's all,
Department heads.
elected officials are department
Department
heads.
heads, yeah.
You don't see any problem and you do. Right?
I think the employees should get their step and grade.
Well, okay. We agree with that.
But the paperwork has to be done to get the step and grade, right?
Yes. It does.
Yes, it does? Okay. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
We're in agreement.
Okay.
Y'all sure are quiet down here.
And I'm just listening. It's good to listen sometimes.
Okay?
She is.
With this change, what's the downstream impact?
That elected officials have to get the paperwork in.
Don't say elected officials.
Sorry, department heads have to get the paperwork in prior to the effective date of the raise,
And if they don't, the employee doesn't get their step and grade.
until the next
There you go.
pay period
Exactly.
begins.
Frank, you're a department head.
The way that it used to work, I would get a email from Nikki. Prior to that, it was Susan. Hey,
Yeah, I used to do that job.
Danny Chambers is up for step and grade in a month. I mean, it came way, way ahead.
Right.
And we're busy. I mean, we're busy. And
Hopefully.
I think it's happened to me twice in 6 years where I got my notification, Danny Chambers was due, and bigger than life, 2 days before he's supposed to get it, I would call Susie and say, hey, he's gonna get it. He did good, he's gonna get his step and grade. Can we just put it through on this pay period and I'll get you paperwork and I can get him to sign it. That's the way it used to work, and it was a good system. The system changed, and I'm fine with tracking my own employees. I'm good with that. But we're all human. Brian moves money for me and I don't ask him. That's what he does. He's good at what he does. I don't. That's just my opinion. I thought the system was fine. I can track my own employees when they're due.
We just try to always make it work, so the employee's not suffering.
And I understand that, except it goes against Article 3, Section 53 of the Texas Constitution. The paperwork must be generated and submitted prior to the effective date of the raise.
I think Brian will agree with that, won't you? Can't pay anything before. Or not supposed to pay anything. Let me rephrase that. Not
When,
supposed to pay anything.
when do you get notified? How far in advance do you get
At the same
notified?
time that the department heads do.
What, a day or two?
No, it's a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, I usually get mine 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time.
We usually run that report right after
Okay.
payroll.
Would you have time to notify department heads and say, if you don't get it in, I'm not gonna sign?
She's included in the email, but it's notifying the department.
No, I understand,
Okay.
She is getting notified.
Well, I do periodically when they start looking like they're gonna be
Well, that's my
late.
point.
That's why I
Can
started
you do
getting
that?
them, because I can call and go, but, you know, and then it's, oh, we're all busy, gotta get blah, blah, blah.
Maybe a reminder is all you need.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with helping, but my bottom line is, if it's supposed to start on the 1st and it's not received till the 3rd, it should not take effect on the 1st.
I agree with
Okay.
that, but can you notify them before
I
the
will-
deadline?
I will assist in any way that I can, as long as the ultimate responsibility
Okay.
is to get it in prior to.
How many department heads are we
Sounds
talking
pretty
about?
About 13, roughly. That's a rough guess, okay? With elected officials and department heads, roughly 13, 14.
In full disclosure, I'm guilty of it as well.
We babysit all of you.
And Susie, can y'all go ahead and notify them like you're doing?
Absolutely.
And you notify them before the deadline?
And the consequence of not meeting that deadline is you're going to impact that employee.
There you go.
Right.
They probably don't need nothing but a reminder.
If I was an employee,
But I mean, at what point, I mean,
if it's against the law, it's against the law.
And that's my point.
Andy?
people need to be held accountable. I mean, seriously, like, this is ridiculous. We're all adults here. I mean, it's your job. I mean, you don't need reminders. You don't need babysitting.
Well, is it gonna take a lot of time to notify?
Well,
I mean, you're,
I don't have a problem assisting as long as the bottom line remains that it's not in time, it doesn't start.
okay, they just need to be reminded. And if it doesn't work, we'll do something different.
Well, I'm for this change.
Yeah.
And the main thing is we need to make sure and educate our department heads that this way it's gonna be from this point on. If paperwork's not in the day before the
Don't be
raise is
calling
due,
Susan saying, hey, buddy.
they will not get it till the next,
Where's
till
my
after
money?
you get in and the next time. Just, everybody's gotta accept that, you know, that's the way the rules are.
Everything's properly filed, processed, they get their money.
Right, I agree with that.
Do we need a motion?
We need
Make a motion that we approve the 3.07 pay plan as presented.
I have a motion by John.
Second.
I have a second by Larry. Or Kenneth. Do we have any further
Larry,
questions or discussion? Arguments? Questions? All in favor of said motion, that's all in favor of said motion. That's 5 for and 0 against. I thought maybe we were going to go a different direction. All right, item number 6, discuss take action on Expo employee 6-month review. I believe, Frank, is that you presenting that, or?
I have a employee, John Ross, that is due 6 months.
And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the problem arose when what happened here? I guess on the new system, everybody's 12 months, 12 months, 12 months. 12 months coming in, 12 months going out, instead of having to wait 18 months or waiting whatever. And I realize that's not enterprise funds. So, is that what discussion is here today? Okay.
And I believe that our personnel policy allows for an increase at 6 months. Not waiting for a 1-year anniversary. Okay, correct me.
It allows for a petition to the court no earlier than 30 days, and 80 days each thing can be received. And of course, this one slips through the cracks because there is no Drew.
They're not on step, so, yeah.
So it's just a petition to the court.
Does this get them on step? Would this,
There's a step for,
Enterprise funds.
we had that conversation.
okay, let me rephrase this. Would this sequence them into the pay increase methodology being incorporated by the enterprise systems?
There is no.
There is none.
Well, this
So
fixes the
each and
problem.
every one,
Methodology went
so the
away.
director has to come before us every time they want to give a pay increase?
No.
Well, why are we at
Prior
a,
to 1 year.
prior to 1 year?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying. If we approve this, it puts this person in sequence with the system being utilized by that enterprise on an annual.
Now I think we're talking as normal.
Okay.
The person has not been there a year, the policy got changed so that nobody, regardless of enterprise, not enterprise, a county employee can only get a pay raise after a year or more of service, once they've started, or once they're on a track.
So why is Frank here before us today?
That Frank has to answer that question.
Because I'm sorry, go ahead. Because you'd like to do a 6 month.
What I heard was, yeah, I have to, every new employee, y'all have to bless whether they get a raise or not.
No.
On the 6 months. After a year,
No,
you,
the old policy that we threw in the trash with the second grade and everything else used to contain for certain lower levels that you were up for a raise review in 6 months. Some of them were 9 months, but also everyone else at the end of their pay scale was not up for a raise until a year and a half. Okay, all of that got thrown in the trash. Apparently Frank still wants to give this person a raise at 6 months, and that policy got thrown away, so he has to come to the court specifically and individually to accomplish that.
because what's in policy is a year. Is that correct?
Yes. Now,
It's 1 year, and then at the end, you don't have to wait 18 months. It's 1 year. All the 6 months and 18 months, everything went away. We made it 12 months standard.
yes, so
It's actually 9 months.
9 months? All right.
I don't know, whatever. He feels like he should be able to give the raise, and so it takes an action by court.
And so then they'll get a raise in a year from.
Yeah, their anniversary will be when it's approved, I guess. That's the way the system always was.
Yes.
And I didn't know that got thrown away.
I thought that Frank wasn't notified when
He
we
wasn't.
took him off of step and grade.
It wasn't.
Right.
That's a
And I thought that's
separate
what this is
issue.
about,
Right.
trying to correct a problem that was
Right.
on us, I guess, because you wasn't notified that we changed things.
If we approve this, this individual will go on a 1 year review cycle, correct?
Yes, sir.
Starting now.
Right.
Up on the
It would be
approval.
his anniversary date. That's the way we've always done it.
And then instead of having step and grade, you've got a window that you work within, a low and a high, and it's your discretion where you put these people within that window, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the 6 month increase for this individual.
Second.
I have a motion by John. I have a second by Kenneth. Do we have any further questions or discussion?
I do, I have a question. What makes this different from the rest?
They don't have step and grade like all the elected officials, and well, the
Golf
enterprise
course.
fund, the golf course, and the expo do not have step and grade. They have a set salary, a beginning and an end, and then the department has discretion where they put these people, the beginning to an end. And then if they hit the end, then they don't ever get sort of like step and grade, but they don't have automatics.
To change.
No.
We, the problem is that he wasn't notified when we changed things.
Not really.
Well, he had
Whether
been-
was or wasn't notified, it got changed. It's, the policy used to say, if you hired someone at the bottom.
Was you notified when we changed
notified
things or
not?
something, the policy allowed for you to, give them a raise after 9 months. And then thereafter, it was every year, just like everyone else. But on the higher grades, it was just a year. This person hired in at one of the lower steps that would have been allowed to get a raise potentially at 9 months. But we did away with step and grade, we did away with the 9 months and all this, and for everybody. And everyone now is just every year.
So we're not doing step and grade?
for
Yes,
the golf course in the expo.
The
Okay,
court approved the
she's
new
not explaining that right.
scale.
Right.
They did away with the 18-month thing at the end.
and the 9-month thing at the beginning.
But the golf course and expo does not have.
Correct. But they also, their 9-month and their year and a half, all that went away too, just like ours. But they don't have sets anymore. You can start someone at the top of the scale when you hire someone, should this budget allow.
Brian, did you want to clarify that, okay, he gets a 6-month raise now, and then you wanted a year from this 6 months?
Yeah.
In 6 months, you don't want to review it again.
That's
A
right.
year from the day he gets the raise.
Right.
Okay.
This is his new anniversary date, starting.
Yes.
Whenever he gets this raise, whenever it takes effect.
That is correct.
I have a motion by John. I have a second by Kenneth. Do I have any further questions or discussion or argument? All in favor said motion. That's 5 for, 0 against. Thanks, Frank. All right. Well, you might better just stay put. Number 7, discuss take action on payment for new expo lighting system. That's back to, I guess, Brian and Frank.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna table this. I spoke with Doug this morning, and he was in communication with Jason, the lighting company. What the issue was, lights are done except for the dimmers. They need a program, it's a big program to download to finish the dimmers. Well, they've done the lights 3 weeks ago. They were finished. Okay, so they wanted to be paid partial payment. I said, I can't pay you all until you're done. They're waiting for us to get the internet stable to download this program. After speaking with Doug this morning, he said he thinks they can handle it, or this company is enabled to download this, whatever it is. So, I'd like to just table it.
Table this one, take no action at this time, and move forward.
Yes.
All right. If that's good with the court, we will
Yep.
do that. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Item number 8, open sealed bids, food products.
Well, our response rate went up 100%. We actually got 2 this time.
Cool.
The first one in is from Cisco. Food products. And the second one is from Vinnie Keith. I would also recommend that we just take these, receive them, and take them under advisement.
Do I have a motion to receive these bids?
So moved.
I have a motion by John,
Second.
second by Kenneth. Do we have any further questions or discussions? All in favor said motion. 5 for, 0 against. Item number 9, approved budget transfers.
These were emailed to you. There's just 3 of them. 4 of them. You can see that we just had to move some money for animal control. The JP, we took a little bit out of their professional services. The big one on there was the change from the contingency fund to the sheriff's office to pay the contract down payment for the new software. That's the 2. That's the amount of the transfer. $62,605 is what we needed to move over there.
You said down payment. Well, we still owe more?
Oh, absolutely. When they get delivered, the contract called for an amount down now, and then we have payment that's going to go into next fiscal year.
Okay, next fiscal year, so we need to
Come out of budget
work on budgeting then for it.
That is correct. The amount that we're paying is $137,975.50 is what we're paying at this point in time for signing the contract. And that represents a 50% down.
You just had to bring it back to mind what was going on. I remember
Certainly.
her saying that.
Right.
If you would accept it.
Well, do I have
Make a motion, we approve the budget transfers.
I have a motion by John,
Second.
second by Larry. Any further questions or discussion for Brian? All in favor said motion. It's 5 for, 0 against. Item number 10, approve remainder of county bills.
The grand total of what we're paying, and we sent over for your review, is $344,130.15. In addition, we have two that will pay through payroll. Both to Zach Davis, $5.27 and $12.73 for meals.
Make a motion, we pay our bills.
I have a motion by Kenneth.
Second.
I have a second by Larry. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor of paying our bills? That's 5 for, 0 against. Item number 11. Let me see here. Approved county treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Larry to approve the county treasurer's report. Second. I have a second by Don. Any further question or discussion? All in favor of said motion? It's 5 for, 0 against. Item number 12, approve, accept the monthly reports from county departments.
Make the motion.
I have a motion by Larry to accept the reports.
Second.
I have a second by Don. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor of said motion? 5 for, 0 against. At this time, we will retire into executive session at 10:02 a.m. to discuss the sale of real property.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. You'll need me for anything on the other executive session?
No.
Stick around for?
No. Thank you very much, though. Hey, Doug, I'm sorry. Go ahead with
Yes,
it.
I did. I'll see. I just whatever you have here.
You had sent me an email for the first of the year. You'd like to have a meeting with department heads like Michelle and Darlene and Christy. All right, it is 10:29 on the 8th day of January. Somervell County Commissioners Court will reconvene in open session, and we'll now take action on executive session. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the proposal for purchase of county property of Lot 1, Block 9 of Gibbs Industrial Park from Magnitude Real Estate LP.
I have a motion by John.
Yeah, second.
I have a second by Don. Do we have any further questions or discussion? All in favor of said motion? That's 5 for, 0 against. Now we're going to take a break, and then we will retire back into executive session at 10:30.
Michelle, do you need this?
All right, it is 10:56 a.m. on January the 8th. Somervell County Commissioners Court is reconvened in open session, and we have no action to take on executive session. So do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I have a motion by Kenneth.
Second.
Second by Don. All in favor? That's 5 for, 0 against, and we're out at 10:56. Thank you.
Thank you.
We did get out of here before 11:30.
We tried to drag it out.
None of Myers would come to this meeting, we probably would have.
So they're going to make me do that on 22nd. Huh?
I'm going to go to their meeting on Wednesday.
They have.
B&B meeting. Larry and Don just trying to be nice to him, and John just hit him between the eyes.
John's on his way out of here. You get what you want, better than honey. I don't know what